Okay, now I'm recording. So I want to address something real quick. I noticed that you have certain members who identify as Hebrew Israelites, people who are identifying as Pan-African, key figures that are known within the black empowerment or black power or black consciousness circles. Often call them the Saw Netter Debate Circles Network, because often these people appeared on Saw Netter TV, or participating in a debate connected to Saw Netter, because he has recorded a lot of these individuals when it comes to interviews, their lectures, and their debates. Okay, so I want to address a couple of them are coming out to speak against this new term being used, foundational Black American. Often representing it as if it's some type of cultish type of group or a political or social group, and then spewing certain opinions about it that's not positive. Well, from foundational Black American, from my understanding, is a lineage. It's not a social group, it's not a political group, and therefore it doesn't have a social or a political ideology connected to it. It simply means a people of non-immigrant background, more specifically Black people who are descendants of U.S. chattel slavery from a non-immigrant background, meaning their ancestors were here prior to and during the building of the United States of America. Okay, meaning they did not come from a sovereign nation to another established sovereign nation, immigrating here. And often I think even the regular population is kind of getting confused on that. No, they the they were here in this country, building the country before 1776. And even after 1776, they were the primary principal workforce, the foundation of the United States of America, prior to it becoming an official country. Okay, and even during the time of the country's formative process. Okay, so, and this particular group of people are a distinct group of people because we are an amalgamation of people who settled here and interbreeded, intermixed, reproduced children, and created distinct native ethnic groups in America. Okay? So, in this group that we are a part of, some people are calling us foundational Black American, others are calling us Solon, others are calling us American freedmen. Okay, but we're still different terms meaning the same group. And then some people are using ADOS, and it's however they choose to identify, but we're identifying essentially the same group of people, this distinct group of people, who was here and was an essential part of the labor force building this nation from scratch before the United States was the United States. Okay, so that's why foundational, when the term foundational was coined, that was what that was principally referring to. People who built this nation from scratch before the nation was the United States of America, laying the foundation of it. And a lot of folks want to debate that. They can if they want to, but it's just a matter of studying history of the United States, and who were the principal labor group who was being used to build the economy, the initial architecture, the initial road structures, road structures, systems, parks, whatever, of the nation. You have to look who was that principal labor force. Okay, the labor force that was used to, develop the economy of the United States itself. And on a lot of times, members in the dominant society wants to change the narrative. They have been very dishonest about it. But if you just be honest and you studied history, you will see who that group is. And that group now, many of them often are referring to themselves as foundational Black Americans. Okay, the descendants of Black descendants of U.S. chattel slavery. Okay, so, and we are a distinct group of people. Due to our amalgamation, our admixture, we have a distinct genetic architecture now. Also, we have evolved and developed our own culture. Okay, we have our own legacy, our own history. So we are a distinct group of people that were created in America. We were not created anywhere on the continent that now is referred to as Africa. Okay, our ethnic origins originate in America. It doesn't originate anywhere else. Our culture originates in America. It doesn't originate anywhere else. Okay, do we have ancestors from Africa? I'm from the opinion, yes, we do, but we also have ancestors that were indigenous and native to the Americas. And many of those people were enslaved on the same plantations and in the same households as those Africans that were brought over here. And then, of course, we understand the admixture that happened through with the Europeans, under certain, circumstances, right? So we are in a mixed group of people as a distinct ethnic group. Unfortunately, people, due to our phenotype, due to our skin tone, due to our perceived hair texture, people want to look at us and say, and really want to deny our indigenous origins. And then also they want to, because they have a stereotype of how indigenous people look like, okay? And then they also and it comes from being always labeled and put in this box of, and being told who we are instead of being allowed to assert who we are. And we only been allowed to really be to acknowledge just the African ancestry. And even many members in our own ethnic group have done that as well. They have taken this quote unquote African identity as a political identity, as a social identity, despite the fact that they are very fully aware they have a mixture with other racial ethnic groups from different continents, including people who are indigenous and native here. But anyway, I want to say this, that this delineation movement, in my personal opinion, is a very spiritual one. It's people are trying to scapegoat it and just call out certain individuals who have been the most vocal in the delineation movement, trying to make it seem like it's just a small group of people following organizations or social political groups or cults, and that's not the case, because I have met people who don't know certain key figures or representatives in the delineation movement, who've never heard of any of those people who are known in the ADOS group, who are known or representatives of people who have represented FBA or talked about it online. You have people who never have listened to these people, who are foundational Black Americans / Solon people, / American freemen, but guess what? They're delineating now. They're saying we are a distinct group of people. They're starting to view themselves differently from those who are of Caribbean descent, of recent immigrant backgrounds, and who are of continental African descent, of recent immigrant backgrounds. And they're older adults, and they're who's never heard of these personalities. You know, young adults who's never heard of these personalities, but they understand and they're viewing themselves as a distinct group of people. That has nothing to do with any of these personalities that, you know, some of the Pan-Africans and the Hebrew Israelites are individuals, key figures in those collectives, are calling out. Because the delineation movement is I would say, in my personal opinion, it's a spiritual one. It's one where our ancestors who've been here for hundreds of years, some thousands of years, right, are starting to say, hey, claim your identity, claim your culture, preserve and protect who you are. Do not allow yourself to be erased or replaced. This is coming. It's organic. It's an organic, spiritually based movement. Because people are finally saying, this is who we are. This is our identity. This is our culture. And we will not be erased. We will not be replaced. We will protect that. You know, because there has been too many incidences where we have experienced attacks where people have tried to siphon and take credit for cultural achievements that we have achieved that has nothing to do with their group. And so people are saying enough is enough. The disrespect, the violation, the being told you don't have a culture, you're a culturalist people, you're a people of no land, you know, to say that we're not Americans because simply the color of our skin. And the sad fact is, they're using this type of psychology that is learned through members of the dominant society, and then telling you that, and then hiding it behind what they consider Pan-Africanism, or hiding it behind their Hebrew Israelite teachings, or whatever kind of other social political ideology that they have to abuse. This is abusive, to abuse people, members of an ethnic group, and to say they don't belong to where they belong to where their ancestors been. That what they built. Who does that to a people? So, except for other people who are struggling with their own identity, struggling with what they figure is their place in this world, and then often having negative perceptions and dispositions towards a country called the United States of America. And so they want to try to distance themselves from it because of how our ethnic group has been historically treated here. But they do it in a way where not only they're distancing themselves through these different political social ideologies and claiming particular identities to make them feel better about who they are, but now they're attacking other members in the ethnic group who are saying, no, we're going to claim and acknowledge our Americanness. We're going to acknowledge being United States citizens, not citizens, but the foundation of the country, and what we have done in this country, what we have built in this country, what we contribute culturally, what we have contributed, when it comes to inventions, science, math, literature, arts. We're woven into the fabric of this nation. And there's no way I'm going to give it away to anybody. And to allow people to take what we have done, lay claim to it, and then just lie there and take it and say nothing, all the while disrespecting us. Those days are going to be over. And this is how people in my ethnic group, many people, individuals in my ethnic group, are feeling right now. This goes way beyond any type of influencer, personality, head of an organization. This is a national wave, a national feeling of how members in my ethnic group are feeling right now because of what we have seen, witnessed with our eyes, and felt in our souls and our spirits about how we have been treated in the last couple of decades. This is why there's a delineation movement. This is why you have the reparations movement. This is why you have people who are pushing so hard in California, in New York, and in other places saying, hey, we want to be recognized for who we are. We are self-defining ourselves. Finally, taking our claim and our place as Americans. We will not be replaced. We will not be erased. We will not be pushed aside. And we will not be ignored. That's the spirit that is coming from. Not from a personality on YouTube. Not from anybody in any particular organization. It's organic. It's in our souls. It's in our hearts. It's in our minds right now. And when you have that happening, it's going to rise as you're going to have representatives in our group who's going to speak out, and then who we are going to support. But we have to understand this is a national movement. That, and this occurrence of how we're identifying is happening not just online, not because of influencers online, not because of people who are in certain organizations, but because of what we have witnessed, what we have experienced. And when we're saying we are finally taking our place and saying this is what we have to do for ourselves, for our cultural survival, for our ethnic survival. And so, and to bring honor, respect to our ancestors that have sacrificed and done so much for this country. This is about honoring them and not allowing anybody else to take away their glory and what they have went through and what they have done for this nation that everybody in this nation benefits from. Those days of being taken from and not being acknowledged and being continually ignored politically, economically, and socially is done. That's what we're saying. And we're not going to allow any other group of people, even if they look like us or look similar to us, come into our spaces and dishonor that. Or try to lay claim for it for themselves, all the while shaking their fingers and saying we're a people of no culture, of no country, and telling us that our own country belongs to members of the dominant society, not us. That's unacceptable, and we're not going for that anymore. We're not going for the cultural bullying anymore. And speaking out is not hatred. Speaking out and defending yourselves is not bigotry. It's not prejudice. It's saying enough is enough. We want our respect. We want to be treated with decency and respect and acknowledged for what we have done. And we're not going to be erased politically, culturally, economically anymore. That's what the movement is about. And it's not about a whole group. It's not about a whole group of people on the internet talking, or some people who started an organization here. This is an organic movement. This is a spiritual one. This is happening with those of us in our ethnic group who don't even sit and watch the internet. Or YouTube, I should say. They ain't watching social media, but they feel and think this way. And so I'm just going to end it on that. So yeah, well, we're moving forward with delineation. We're moving forward with the reparations movement. And I hope that people who are in our ethnic group, a part of these different types of political ideology, can show respect to it and understand what is going on, because I honestly think they don't, or they're very still rooted in their ideology, that they're doing things that indirectly it comes across as not being constructive to the progress. It's obstructive in what we're trying to do and where we're going. And honestly, it's too late to stop it now. We already moving forward. We're in a new era of consciousness right now that has swept over the nation amongst people in our ethnic group. And so it is going forward in that direction. And it's not about hate. It's not about division. It's not about being anti anybody. This is something that's about just ensuring that we are being respected, not violated, not taken advantage of, not ignored, not replaced or erased. That's it. And that we want to bring honor to our ancestors by making sure that justice is done in their name for what happened to them. Okay? All right. So until next time.